not only is your freedom for sale, but the reason people invest in general, right? It's not really about the money. Most people aren't about the greed. You mentioned off camera, it's about the lifestyle.
Yes.
Most people use real estate as a means to an end.
It's just a vehicle. Everyone I know that's done very well in real estate, they move on to something else that they were passionate about, that they want to do, and they want to provide this to the community. It's a way of giving back.
Hey everyone, Mike Rosehart here, talking to you guys today about buying your freedom. I'm here with Rene Masse. He's, tell us about yourself, Rene.
Oh, from Kingston, Ontario, and my specialty are student rentals. And I can tell you that you can buy your freedom with a lot less than you can imagine. You don't really need 20 to 30 properties. You probably only you can get by with 5 student rentals.
Yeah, so the big point of this video is that your freedom is for sale. And I've talked in past videos about this FIRE movement, right? This idea that you can have financial independence and retire early. And Rene is really big on the tie between real estate and freedom, right? And how you can actually buy your freedom. And if you look at the data, a Gallup study, I like to quote it a lot. You guys have heard it on the channel before. I say 77% of people are dissatisfied in the work that they do. 77% of you that are watching, that's who we're talking to today, that your freedom is in fact for sale. And it's actually a lot closer than you might think. Unlocking your freedom could be, we were talking off camera about, 4 rentals.
Well, that's right. How much do you need for your financial freedom? I mean, there's a number that you got to keep in mind. And it could be 3,000, it could be 4,000, 5,000. Sure, think big in 10,000. Whatever the number is, have that in your head. But it's not going to, sometimes with buy and hold, you need maybe, the cash flow 200 per month or 100 per month. It's going to take you a very long time to buy that freedom. With student rentals, you probably only need about 5, and then you can get away with it.
So you're saying one student rental property in Kingston, Ontario, you're getting $1,000 a month positive cash flow.
Not only in Kingston, there are places like Windsor, Peterborough,
London, Ontario.
Student cash flows really well.
Yes.
Easily, I mean, there you can get maybe 500 per month positive cash flow on a student rental, but my aim is easily 1,000 per month.
If you do things following a certain model, and same
for
here.
For sure. And there's some that cash flow even more, but I try to tone it down to 1,000. That's the goal right there.
So tell a little bit the audience about what you've done. You're telling me off camera you got 8 student rental properties currently, and you have a commercial painting business, and you have property management company, Alter Property Investments.
Yes, we manage our own properties for our investors and all that, but generally, we do our own. And the student rentals, I've been in student rentals for over, I was raised with tenants. And then when I went to university, and then I lived with tenants, and I've always kind of lived with tenants. And then as you grow older, you figure, you want the lifestyle, so you move away from that. But overall, when my first property, I lived with students. Yeah, and it worked out really well.
Myself included, yeah.
And you chose well. I chose people that weren't going to be there. Yeah. So out of the 4, I was the 4th one. One of them was a bit older. He cooked all the time, and it was great. It was good setup. Yeah. I'd buy the food, he would cook, and it was great. 2 others were always gone.
Nice.
So it worked for the lifestyle that I was looking for. I worked a lot, and it paid for the house. And even though I paid for the house much more than it was worth, it still cash flows today, and I'm very happy it's on par with my.
So how many years ago was your first property, the student
rental? That was 2005.
2005, okay, so 13 years ago you started getting into student rentals, and it was your first property. It's what you knew, it's what you're familiar with.
Exactly. I went to the university, and I can see other people doing it. And as a contractor, I was actually helping others invest in student rentals by fixing the places up. And I'm like, listen, if they can do that, I can do that as well.
Yeah.
So that's what I started doing. I bought my own place. It was a bit further away from the university, much cheaper, but I was able to attract tenants there. Now that the university and the city has expanded a bit, now it's in a really good location. So you got to think maybe 5, 10 years down the road.
So in the financial independence community, we talk about unlocking this financial independence, and that the basic definition, the rule that you'd follow, would be around 4% safe withdrawal rate is what we use. So you basically need about 25 times your annual expenses to be financially independent.
Yes.
Based on investing in a stock portfolio of basically 90% equities, 10% bonds, and withdrawing effectively 4% each year, leaving inflation in your portfolio. But that's relying on market returns unlevered using public equities. Now with real estate, if you were to invest that portfolio in real estate, you get significantly higher returns because of things like leverage, right?
Yes.
5-to-1 leverage. Talk to the audience about how someone can unlock. Let's say you're 18 years old watching this video, and you're right now a student. You understand probably more about the student rental game than someone who's 40 who's been out of it for a while. You actually have a distinct advantage just by the fact that you've been a student or are a student. So that's the reason that myself I got into student rentals is I bought my first property at 19 and was doing the same kinds of things and thinking, I know the student market game.
They know what they want. I mean, the students, if you're a student yourself, you know what you're looking for, and then you're better able to buy the right property and then house it with good quality tenants. I mean, you may not have the money or so, but keep in mind that you do have strengths, and if your strengths are the market and you know what students are looking for, you know what they want, or you know what programs going to be opening up, or just having connections within the student area, you can easily get tenants. And I've heard of a good point is a lot of investors, what they like is they want proximity to the university. That's what students want as well.
Yes.
Although I've heard, I know of people who they buy a house much further away from the college or university, and they still get tenants in there.
Still get students in there.
Student tenants in there. The bus line is nearby.
Yes.
And it's just because they were well connected with the students, so it worked out well. So you don't necessarily need to be so close to the university. Keep in mind, where I live, in my market, in Kingston, 20 minutes, you're really in the country. It's a really small town.
Okay.
So if you get somebody from Toronto who they're used to a commute of 40 minutes to get to school, then they get to Kingston for post-secondary education.
Everything's 10 minutes.
And it's like, oh, it's only 20-minute bus drive. It's like, oh yeah, fine, that'll be fine. That's perfect.
Yes.
So it's all relative to what they're used to. So you don't necessarily need to have a student rental right by the university and pay top dollars for it. You can have it further away and still house students.
I did the same. My first property, I couldn't afford a property right at the western gates or right around the university. I actually went quite a bit further, 10 or 15 minutes away, and in a pocket that was still, I think, depressed from an appreciation perspective. It hadn't seen the appreciation the rest of the university students had, but it was a 5-minute bus ride.
Yes.
And I'm like, everyone's missing this area, and now it's blown up. Everyone's found out. I bought a few properties there, and the word got out, and other people bought properties there. And now that area gets the same rent per bedroom as close to the university for about half the price of the property. So your cash flow is like double what it would be buying the same property that's not bid up by the parents from Toronto, because they don't look in that small area, right? And so you can find pockets where there's this anomaly, this unicorn effect, I call it.
Yeah, thinking ahead. You got to think at least 5-10 years ahead to think about how the city's growing and which way and what's going to work out. So that's a great advantage, especially if you're buying at a young age. You're riding that wave of appreciation without doing much work.
So how much would you need, do you think, to get involved? Let's say you wanted to retire, right? Live financially independent, just on the student rental income. Maybe you want to build in a bit of a contingency, an extra $1,000 a month, just in case you have some vacancy or something happens. What would you need from a capital perspective, from a savings perspective, to get, that number of properties? What's your strategy?
Well, my first property I bought, it was 100% financing.
100%?
Yeah.
So vendor take-back mortgage?
Not even. It was, I run a business. So
Yeah.
I got a business line of credit.
Okay.
And that was the down payment.
Nice.
And then the mortgage broker. It's also...
So 80% loan to value from a residential mortgage, and then 20%
but I was
for your
living
business.
in it. I was living it. So it was only 5% down payment.
Okay, so you did the CMHC private mortgage,
That's right.
5%
That's
down.
right, exactly.
Wow.
And working with the right mortgage broker. I must admit, I wouldn't have thought of it myself. There was a mortgage broker who said, listen, you're running a business. Get a business line of credit. And I was able to get a business line of credit, and then that was a down payment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's very important, I think. A lot of people, they hesitate on getting started. And so that's one of the biggest things is just getting started and buying your first property. And you might not pay the best price, like you said. You might overpay a little bit, but at least you get involved in the process. You start learning how to do it.
You're in the game.
Yeah.
It's like a different room. You got to get into the game. It's the first property. Once you get that first property, it took a while too. I was not necessarily focused on it. I was focused on the contracting side, just living year by year, day by day.
Yeah.
And it's only once I refinanced it and then bought another property, and that was a really good property. I really found a good one.
You learned everything from the first one that you didn't want to have in the second one, all the things you wanted to have in the second one.
I took my time with it. I wasn't too rushed to get into it.
So walk me through the second property you bought. What was the purchase price? What were the numbers?
Oh, the second one was a bit of a home run. I really waited for it. It was...
the audience loves home runs.
Yeah, oh, really? Okay, well, so it was a commercial property that was on the market for 4 years, vacant for 2.
Wow.
And there were issues with it.
Super stale.
high taxes. It was like $1,000 a month just on taxes. So it was
Commercial
less.
tax rates on
It was
multifamily
huge,
and commercial
huge.
industrial, super high. That's why I avoid, Grant Cardone talks about buying commercial. I'm a big fan of buying residential and perhaps going at the student rate, right? You rent out student bed by the bedroom or whatever on a group, and you get way more cash flow for a lot smaller purchase price and a lot smaller operating costs.
So
Keep going.
the other thing was it was terrazzo floors. You couldn't really modify. There were doors everywhere. It was an old clinic. It was an old dog clinic. So a vet.
Yeah.
So you had
Very
doors
unique-
everywhere.
unique property.
It was built to house dogs. It was like one little small bathroom. It was.
So
it wasn't.
you took it from dogs to students.
Well, actually, this is a commercial building. It's a commercial building. It's
Yeah.
now a medical center,
Okay.
and it was also a leaky roof as well. So the roof was a mess. It was a flat roof, and you had to fix the roof, and that was at least $30,000 or so. So I can see on the market that it was they were dipping at $40,000 each and every year. So basically, when I sent the offer, I didn't care if I got it or not. I simply dipped another $40,000, and they were thrilled with the offer. They didn't know. I didn't even tell them about it. By that time, I had my real estate license, and they were like, "Oh, great!" And when I showed it to the bank, they're like, "Man, you're buying this for land."
Yeah.
Like,
For the
great.
value of the land.
This is the value of the land. That's it. So we put in about $80,000 in renovations, but we did it in phases. We didn't necessarily have the income, but the bank.
So what'd you turn it
helped
into?
out.
Went from a dog clinic to what?
No, to a veterinarian clinic, to a medical clinic, and what also helped was I knew the tenant. So I knew someone who needed to get a.
So you built it for them,
Exactly.
basically.
So that
Nice.
helped. And it was also different. The first year we fixed up the front area of it, so there's only 4 people. And then the following years, the winter months when it was slow for the guys, then we fixed the back area of it. So now it's a 12 units.
12 commercial units?
12 practitioners working in
Oh,
this
okay.
facility.
Wow.
So
So you're able to crank the cash flow out of that, obviously.
yeah, it does.
Did
cash
you get
flow
the property
nicely.
taxes down? You said there were $1,000.
Yeah, the first thing I did was the roof, and then the property taxes. We definitely, but that took a year. But they can see that we were improving the
And
building.
you asked them to reduce the property taxes?
Oh yeah, and it's based on the value. So we bought it for this price.
And you said, look, this is
initially-
what I bought it for. Drop the property taxes on it.
That's exactly what I said.
And they did it.
They did. It wasn't substantial, but it was still pleasant to have, and they took their time with it. They can see that we were fixing it up as well.
Right, right.
So, and then with this property, the beauty is that upstairs it's residential taxes, and downstairs it's commercial taxes. Because when it was first built, the owner wanted to live upstairs, or maybe this was his whole
okay.
idea from the start. So we kept it that way, and it
Yeah,
saves
yeah.
a bit of taxes.
Awesome.
So that was quite a home run.
And then after that, you got into more of the student rentals again? So your
Yeah,
next
then we got into the
properties-
student rental from
So
one
walk me
to
through an
the
average
other.
student rental property so the audience can understand what the purchase price is and that sort of thing.
The market in Kingston, the baseline for Kingston would purchase price would be about $400,000. A room would be about, the way they see the students, they see it is about $600 per room.
Per room,
And
all
that's-
inclusive of utilities.
Sometimes it's all inclusive, sometimes it's not, depending on the
Okay.
market, depending on where it is.
Okay.
Sometimes I include internet, or it's all inclusive. It's further away, but if it's closer to the university, you don't really need that.
So your third property, let's say, that was a student rental?
Yeah, it's a student
So
rental.
walk me through that property, what you bought it for and what you could rent it for.
Okay, so we bought it for I think it was for like $240. It was a bit of the cuff of the university. It was a 6-bedroom, and it needed a bit of work, but not much. And basically, we furnished it because it was further out. And basically, it's mostly
Adding value for the student.
yes, and it's mostly guided towards not necessarily second-year students. It's mostly guided towards international students and master students,
Okay.
because you've
They
got
want
the
to be out of the party scene.
the
They're
party
okay with
scene.
that.
You've got the furniture right there. They're only there for a year. It's more shorter term, but because it was 6 bedrooms, it cash flows nicely. It cash flows over $1,000 a month, and it was simply just cleaning it up, insulating one
So
room.
6 times 6, $3,600 a month rent for $240,000 purchase price.
It's actually a bit less than 600. That's the benchmark for most second-year students. This one, because it's a
Little
bit
bit on-
out of
on
the
the cusp.
vicinity, it's 550, 580. So
Okay.
we're still looking at, and it's amortized for 30 years, so the mortgage is like I don't know, it was like $700-800 a month.
Wow.
So you can see the numbers. The
Yeah,
numbers really
so
work.
3,300 or something roughly in rent, 3,400 in rent.
Yeah.
And then you've got basically a mortgage of 700.
That's
so there's
right.
a huge spread there for.
And then utilities are included, so that's about 500. And then taxes in that area are fairly cheap. They're about $350 per month. I think in months, because that's how all the payments go.
You think of your cash flow.
Yeah. Insurance, one of the drawbacks with student rentals is the insurance is a bit higher.
Yes.
So we're looking at about between $150 and $200 a month just to pay for the insurance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've been a bit successful. I've been able to get a bit of a discount on the student rental, about $100
really?
a month versus 50 for a normal.
Great.
A normal property might be 50 to 75 a month for a smaller property. A student rental, you might pay 100, 120. In my experience.
There's only really one company that does insure.
So you're kind of,
it's
a monopoly.
They market, they've cornered the market, and I can say that. Yeah, it's Lloyd. Lloyd Insurance is the only company that
in your area
that does it. Actually, that's the insurance. That's not my mortgage broker. Every mortgage broker will have to go to an insurance.
So someone could find a way to do a better take back or find a way to get a property for no money down. But let's say they put 20% down.
Yep.
On a property of that size, it's like around 50 grand, maybe a little bit of renovating capital. So you're for 50 grand, you're going to get $1,000 a month at least positive cash flow each and every month.
Pretty much.
That's a great return on investment. To get 2% of your money back each and every month, that means you're getting a 24% rate of return. You just can't do that in the stock market, right? You just can't.
I don't know. If someone can show me other ways, I would go there.
Yeah, me too.
I've gravitated towards student rentals and real estate investing for a reason, because it makes sense for leverage, for returns on your money. I think it's great. And you got control over it as well, which I love.
Which is fantastic. Yeah, having control of your asset versus if you're relying on management to perform on a stock. I mean, you're relying on them to make good decisions. Why not rely, if you believe in yourself, have yourself in control of the asset and being able to crank out those better returns. Very, very glad to have you today on this segment. I think we'll do another segment on a few other things around property management and student rentals. But in this segment, I loved the fact that you could buy your freedom. So you have 8 rental properties now.
You don't need that many,
and you're financially independent because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't flaunt it, but I do have. The thing is, in the beginning, that was my goal, was to be independent. It wasn't security. It seems as if there were 2 doors, and I speak to a lot of people who they seem to want. They've got the security, but they want independence. What I'm telling them is that you've got to let go of the security, and once you jump onto the other side, you can't have it both.
Yeah,
you got to. It's either security
being an entrepreneur versus being someone who's paid working.
That's right. That's right.
Time for money.
So other ways you can say security or independence. You can't have them both. But the thing is, once you jump from having security to the independence, you realize that security was simply an illusion. It was simply an illusion. It wasn't quite accurate. You didn't need all this.
I never felt secure in my day job. Interestingly, I felt like they could fire you at any time. Anything could happen.
That's a good point.
I always felt like independence was the actual security, because if you've got $1 million or $2 million sitting there and tons of cash flow coming in, you're pretty secure too.
That's true. That's very true. I was a teacher before that. So as a teacher, you got the benefits, you got the summers off, you got the pensions.
Yeah, that's a very secure,
that was
union
very
protected.
Exactly. So that's the perspective I'm coming from.
Yeah. Okay, I see. So go from a teacher to now a property manager, an investor, and student
Teacher,
rental.
contractor to investor. But overall, the mentality has always been about investing your time, leveraging, and creating a lifestyle that you want to live.
Yeah, buying your freedom. Your freedom is for sale, and that's something that a lot of people are on the consumer mindset. They think they want to buy this trip, or they want to buy this house, or they want to buy this jacket or shoes, whatever it is. You could just put that money instead towards buying your freedom, and you could buy an hour of freedom a week. You could buy 10 hours of freedom a week, and in small segments, you could eventually buy your total freedom. And what's better than being able to wake up on a Monday or a Tuesday morning and say, I'm going to go for a hike today, I'm going to hang out with my daughter, I'm going to whatever. And so
it's a whole different lifestyle.
Yeah. And before we were talking on camera, I think not only is your freedom for sale, but the reason people invest in general, right? It's not really about the money. Most people aren't about the greed.
No.
You mentioned off camera, it's about the lifestyle.
Yes.
Most people use real estate as a means to an end.
It's just a vehicle. Everyone I know that's done very well in real estate, they move on to something else that they were passionate about, that they want to do, and they want to provide this to the community. It's a way of giving back.
Yes.
I find wealth, in one way, wealth is about having enough for yourself and then giving the rest of it to others, or sharing to others. That is real wealth.
Yes,
Not
that's
having-
what this channel was for
Yeah.
me too. I got to that point where I didn't have to work, and it was like real estate allowed me, and being a hardcore frugal saver, allowed me to build this security where it's like, now I can do this all day long if I want to, and this is giving back and sharing, and
Yes.
it's not about, if I help someone and they compete against me in my own market, it doesn't matter, because it's not about the money, it's about, giving back and helping people.
And when you give, you learn from it as well. You get.
Yes. You give it, the more you give, the more
Yes,
you'll get.
that's right,
The
that's
more
right,
value you add
exactly.
to people's lives,
Yes.
the more value you'll get back. I truly do believe that. So thank you so much, Rene, for being on. Where would people find you? If they watch a segment, they said, I want to contact Rene in Kingston.
Quite simple. Rene Masse. Just Google Rene Masse online. It comes up. I got a YouTube channel, and my website's called getbetterreturns.com.
Cool. Well, I'll put a link in the description so you can check them out. And as always, guys, to unlock wealth for you need to do 3 things. There are 3 levers to play with. You need to spend less, earn more, and maximize your returns. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.